First responders risk their lives to save others, and now firefighters in Seattle say they are becoming the target of attacks. Firefighters have reported more than 40 acts of violence in 4 months. These are things like rocks being thrown at them. They've been chased around a truck by someone with a knife. A female firefighter reports being slapped and kicked. Now, most of the reports are coming out of homeless camps, but the firefighters union is demanding the city council take action. Joining me now is Jim Fuda, a public safety advisor and the executive director of Crime Stoppers for nearby Puget Sound. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
And so we just reported this is crazy, 40 attacks in 4 months, but mostly at homeless camps. So what is happening here to cause this sort of violence?
Well, as you know, our city is deteriorated with homeless people, at least the last 2 years, especially in these camps. The last administration had real trouble acting. Our new mayor is doing his best, but he was handed a real cluster when he took over less than a year ago. So things are starting to clear up a bit. But these camps, you can decriminalize drugs and let the mental health people stay on the street, but the crimes that surround these people are ever present, and it's getting more and more violent and lack of respect. And you know, I was a 33-year police officer myself, and I've not heard of attacks on firemen like this. They're always considered the good guys.
Well, I know that a lot of times those that the EMTs and folks that participate in ambulance rescues, they need to wait for police officers or other personnel to come. Should firefighters start waiting? I know that when you see flames burning, you don't wait, but is that a situation where they need to wait to have a police escort to put out fires? Well,
that seems like what it's coming to, but I would hate to see it come to that. You know, our police department since start of 2020 is down 40% of deployable officers to the street. So you can see where the conundrum comes in, where there's not enough cops to handle the priority 1 calls, and now what are they going to end up having to do now? Ride fire engines? We just don't have the personnel. So you know, God bless our officers and firefighters is doing the job, the difficult job that they have with the resources they have. But accountability needs to be held. Some of these people need to go to jail. The mental ill need to be forced to take their medications and become productive members of our society.
Well, who would be responsible for that, though? Because we're talking about how strained police departments are, but I'm guessing that the mental health apparatus in King County in the Seattle area is probably not overstaffed.
Absolutely. It's going to take some personnel, but, you know, they've even had talk about police officers standing by and letting social workers come in and handle some of these calls. Well, the police have never claimed to be social workers. They are the triage. They're the ones that come in and decide, okay, this guy's having a mental health crisis. We take him to there, and that keeps everybody safe. So, what's going to happen here with the fire department? I have no idea, but they have a right to demand to do their already tough job and feel protected when they're out fighting fires or doing their calls for service to the citizens of Seattle.
Now, we are seeing video just there of the Seattle Fire Department in action on structure fires. My understanding, though, is that a lot of these fires are actually taking place in these homeless encampments, and so that the folks that live there are not happy that firefighters are coming and messing with their stuff, so to speak, even when they're trying to put out a fire that could spread and destroy everything. Do I have that right, or are these assaults taking place in other times when the folks that are doing the assaults are doing this when there is something that is unrelated to a homeless encampment?
I'm not aware of many, or if any, that have not happened in homeless camps. But then again, some of these people are on the street, not necessarily in a camp, but they're openly smoking crack, meth, whatever it might be, and they're causing a problem. And we have an area, 3rd and Pine down here in Seattle that is notorious for drug usage and assaults and homicides. Another area we have is they call Little Saigon at 12th and Jackson that is the same thing, openly selling stolen property to support their habits. So accountability is what the key is here, and more staffing.
Is this completely separate from the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone that was set up there a few years back?
Yes.
So this is just the homeless. This has nothing to do with politics. These are folks living on the street and, as you say, using or abusing drugs, right?
Yeah, living on the street, no place to go in. And understand, too, that some of these people, there is housing available in certain areas, but they have to be sober to go into it. So they say, why? I'm not going to stay sober. I can live here on the street and get high every day if I want to.
All right, that is Jim Fuda. He is the executive director for Crime Stoppers in the Puget Sound area, and that covers Seattle. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.